Warning. The following presentation may contain excessive alcohol consumption, obscene language, controversial opinions, heavy metal, and actual wrestling chat. As such, it has been rated M for metal.
Welcome to the Mosh Pit. Welcome along to this, the newest episode of Mickey's Mosh Pit. Again, I am your host, the heavy metal hooligan, Mickey Vago. Now, after the last episode, the pilot episode with Scotty Swift, we had some very positive reviews off the back of that, despite the fact it was just two dudes having a few beers and catching up. I'm sure I can speak for Scotty when I say that we both enjoyed shooting the shit for an hour and a half. And for whatever reason, people seem to enjoy listening to us shoot the shit for an hour and a half. But if you do have any other feedback or comments you want to pass along, you can get us on either Twitter or Facebook. At Twitter is at Mickey Vago, or if you just search for Mickey Vago on Facebook, you'll find us there. I'm fairly sure I am the only one on there. But yeah, any feedback you've got, good or bad. I mean, if it is bad, we'll just tell you to fuck off. But yeah, you're welcome to pass it along. So the plan for this is we'll drop an episode every 2 weeks. So every other Monday, you'll get a new one dropping. So whatever platform you're listening to, if you follow or like or subscribe or whatever it is, you'll get a notification of when the new one drops every second Monday. But this next one you're about to hear, this was actually the second attempt we had at recording this. We had an attempt the night before where we spent possibly 6 hours, possibly even more, just drinking and catching up and sharing stories and seeing what was happening with each other. And you could say that probably, or might have been, more entertaining than the episode you're about to hear. But there was quite a lot of stuff in that probably would have got us in trouble or got us in hot water with certain people. So this is the one you're about to hear. And ahead of this, I need to put an apology out there because, as you'll hear, Kaden Garrick he's got quite a strong Aberdonian accent. And with me being originally from Aberdeen, when he goes very Doric, my accent tends to follow. So if you're not from Aberdeen or not from the northeast of Scotland, at least, you may find some of this very difficult to follow along with or understand. You'll get the gist of what we're saying. I should have probably put subtitles or something on this, but yeah, it is what it is. You'll get the gist of what we're saying, and you'll get it, I hope. But yeah, like I said, any feedback that you've got for us, just hit us up on Twitter or Facebook and we'll be happy to hear it. But yeah, for the first time since probably February last year, together for the first time, it's Chris Archer, Kaden Garrick and Mickey Vago. It's the Rejected Reunion. So here we are. You join us on episode 2 of what we're still calling Mickey's Mosh Pit. And up today, we've got two very special guests. It's my two brothers. It's for the first time since March. It's a Rejected Reunion. It's Chris Archer and Kaden Garrick. How's it going, boys?
Woohoo! We're here. We're live.
We're live and kicking.
So, for the first time since March, well, me and Garrick, we've been in the same training group, but it's the first time the three of us have been together.
Training bubble.
The bubble, aye.
You're right.
The bubble.
The Archer was in before he promptly got kicked out before he even started.
Too good beers, that's what it was. Too good.
Well, I wouldn't say kicked out. I'd say formally removed.
And they were nice about it.
I'd say formally removed.
Aye.
Because you couldn't be bothered coming back when everybody else came back. So
Well, yeah,
that's not good enough for our group.
Wednesdays, that's Wednesday crew.
That's it.
As a crew, that's us. So,
I'm not going to say the bottle. I want to say the Creto.
Aye.
I want to say the Creto.
Let's keep that to Wednesdays.
Aye, yeah. That's a Wednesday exclusive.
Aye. So, like I said, that's what's been since March. What you boys been up to? How are you feeling? I mean, again, we were all before I shut down. We were each of us were carrying knocks of some kind. How are you? How are you feeling?
yeah, well, I'm like, everything's pretty much falling to bits with me, so I'm still in one piece. Manner of speaking.
Together by Chibi
Still held
Guts.
together. Oh, covered in the things now. For the neck down.
I mean,
I feel like an old man these days.
but the time off must have helped.
Did for about, I would say, 6 months. And I got out of bed one day and it felt like I was an old man again. Just everything cracked for the waist up with it. Yep. Well, I think that's partly down to about 10 years of doing it. So it's catching up with me now.
Aye,
Even though I'm not as old as I look.
he's the epitome of the grizzled young vet.
he's a lot younger than us too.
Aye.
I wouldn't say I'm as bad as that.
Aye.
I was close. I mean, the injuries that I've picked up during wrestling. And I mean, I've always been sporty, and I played football all my days until obviously I stopped, and I've never had as many injuries as I've had wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, as far as me being perfectly fine, all my little knocks and niggles have kind of just like stopped. But day to day, my uncle obviously that's just a thing. That's just pain sometimes. You know what I mean?
Recurring injury, kind of just even an injury. You know what I mean? Aye, just a.
I mean, the thing about it is, it was a serious injury, and after it healed, it needed an operation. So it's never got to be the same again. So I sound like I sound like a really old man when I say the cold gets to it.
I think we all get a bit of that now.
Aye.
I'm like, I know if it's a cold day because my knees are really sore. I'm only 26. It's like, why am I sounding like an old man?
That's because you've got no cartilage left in your knees, Archer.
It's just bone on bone.
It's bone on bone here. See how me and Vigo do the same thing we are.
You're getting me too well, that's why. I'm not as daft as I used to be.
Aye. So that must be about 10 years you've been on it now, Archer. Is it? 10, 11 years?
Well, 11 years this year. Actually, I started, would have been July 2010. Obviously, I had a bit of a bigger belly than I do now, but...
Aye, we've seen the pictures of Fat Archer.
They're on social media for all to see.
As a fan, yeah.
Yeah, so that was 2010, and that would have been July, and that was about... I can't believe it was that long ago, but completely different setup to what it is now. Well, you guys were in the Scout Hut when we were all there.
Oh, yes.
I love the paper thin blue mats. The best ones.
I've heard the stories, yeah, but I got the better mats, but it was still the Scout Hut we were in. Like the boys at the academy, and again, how good they've got it now. They've no idea.
The guy when I started, you had you didn't even have the Sundays. It was just you had the Wednesday guys, you had the show guys, you had the guys below them. Maybe there's another group below them, and then whoever was new. So my first weekend, it was just me, one of my pals, and then 3 weeks in, I'm getting shots for Crusher, and then my pal, you're lucky if he lasted another 4 or 5 weeks after that. And then I got bumped up, and then just, you know how it works now. Each group you seem to go into, one guy leaves, okay, I'm up again, and that just keeps going and going, and it got to the stage, oh, go get your boots, that's you going on shows. Like that, it was 6-7 months.
Aye.
I still can't believe it's 10 years.
See, this is the thing that a lot of people think that it's easy.
Aye.
And they never realise how much pro wrestling is is a toll on your body, and I think that you will know who's got to stay and who's got to go within the first session. That first couple of bumps, you know who's got to stay and who's got to go.
You've generally got an idea of Faz got it and Faz, isn't it?
Yeah. You can. I mean, even before the bump, you can see. You can say, okay, you maybe got to last a couple of weeks, and then you're gonna be going.
Even if you're saying it's not easy to folk mark out. It's not even just the physical side; it's the mental. Like, until you get into it, you've no idea how much goes into a match. Like, you just assume it's just two guys going back and forth, but there is a set formula to matches. Generally, it happens. Yeah. It's like you can't play with that and put things in different places. But at the end of the day, you're generally messing with the same kind of formula. And
exactly,
the folk didn't seem to think there was that much into it. It's just two guys knocking back and forth until there's a pinfall, and it doesn't work like that.
No, it's like the mental aspect of it. I feel is a lot harder than the physical side.
No, I was the same.
Yeah, I think the physical side is the easy part.
like you were saying, you played football, you're athletic. I was the same. I played football, and I was always that kind of guy. So that part came easy to me. It was the mental side of the match for psychology and all that. That's the part you have to really work on.
So that was the thing I found. I found that hard, but like, you can't. Well, you guys know what I'm like, flying about. So that side, I can do that in my sleep, really. But it was the mental side, so the putting matches together. Why this happens? Why this happens? Why this is done this way? It's like, okay, and it's like you don't learn it until you're actually traveling in cars, going to shows, speaking to guys, going to these different seminars and that. And I remember we did this seminar my first year in. 2 days after Christmas, went down to Blairgowrie, middle of winter. It was that really bad snow, so it was about minus whatever. We're running about in this big metal shed with Doug Williams doing all these different exercises, and it's like big, massive eye opener. You know, a lot of stuff that he was kind of telling you.
I mean, it can be. Like you're saying, the psychological side. It's putting matches together. Like I didn't think I put a whole match together. For my whole first year, I didn't put a whole you'd contribute bits here and there, but it was other guys. And there was one match, I can't remember who it was against, but they were in. I think they were working two times that night or something, or they turned up late or something. So I had to put pretty much the whole match together myself, and then they started just little bits and pieces. But that must have been probably even more than a year in before I was putting whole matches or thinking of putting whole matches together.
Well, the thing I found a lot was you kind of, when you're putting matches together, like I still get it like now. So if you've got that little bit of input, even if you're not putting the whole thing together, even if you just get that little bit of input, say, okay, I know where I'm going here. I know where I'm going here.
Yeah.
None of that deer in the headlights look.
my I would like to say my creative mind or my psychological mind to wrestling. It always helps me to hear the other guy to bounce off of, because I feel like I get little ideas. Don't get me wrong, I can put a match together. You know what I mean? But I find that if you've got a few guys together, you could be going that way, and then a guy will say something and go, "Well, fit about this," or "fit about this." You know what I mean? And you're kind of like, all right, okay. Then like a lot of the times you hear like Batista not speaking of how Triple H was really good at the wrestling business. You know what I mean? And guys would sit around and gone, "Oh, how do we get from this bit to that bit?" And then he comes in and just goes, "Oh, you've tried that," and then like, "Oh my god, so simple."
Eye opener.
Like sometimes I feel the worst thing you could do is like overthink it, overanalyze it, because then it just kind of the psychology of putting a match together freaks you out.
Yeah, well, that's what it's like. I don't know if you guys have seen the Take Our Last Ride thing. You seen that?
Yeah.
I think it was a thing. I remember I was watching that. He said a thing, and I kind of clicked. I didn't think like this before, but I kind of did. So the whole don't be act the wrestler, be the wrestler. You know, that sort of. Don't worry about what's coming next. Just kind of be there in the moment, so that you're not worrying about, oh, I've still got this and this to do. See, I forget this. F it. You know, let's go do something else.
Aye, that's how you can mess a lot of things up if you're thinking too far ahead. And if you're in the match and you're thinking 2-3 spots ahead, Fit's coming next, you're not concentrating on what you should be doing at that time. And a lot of the time, if you concentrate what you're doing, whatever comes if you've set up the match well, whatever comes next will make sense. So it'll come naturally to you that bit comes next and so on.
Yeah, I mean, on the whole, a match should flow. Like I find that if it goes like this, then it's fine. But if a match is going like this, then and back that way and back that way and back that way.
Yeah, it is possible.
You kind of get lost.
But too much into a match, it doesn't need it.
Yeah, less is more.
Though, yeah.
Aye.
Like, we had it with...
It certainly is with your matches. That's always what we've done.
Well, you know yourselves, like you can be lucky as like the crowd's reacting to this, so let's just carry on this way.
Yeah.
This stuff can just forget that. We'll go here because the crowd's going with this. It's like you can end up going a completely different direction to what you originally planned. If you know what I mean.
I think I know is a lot of wrestling psychology. You could hear a formula for a match planned out, but it also depends where you are in the card.
That's a lot of guys that think of that.
You've got to think of that.
That's where I think WrestleZone's really good at that. Like you look at a lot of different shows throughout the Scotland and whatever, and it just seems to be this guy goes on against this guy. And a lot of them, some of them do. It's a blanket statement, but a lot of them didn't seem to hear any like big storylines. And then it just seems to be this guy facing this guy, and it's just a spot fest. And the next one will be exactly the same, and it'll be 6 matches in the card, and they're just trying to top each other. But I think wrestling's really good, and the guys that we've got know how to put a match. So if you're first in the card, you know how to put a first match together, and then a second match, and then so forth until you're building the main event.
And then you actually watch the guys before you, because you know yourself. Some guys they won't watch the matches beforehand, so then they can go out and go do a match a certain way. You go out and do the exact same thing, but yours didn't get the reaction because they've already done it first.
Aye, yeah.
There's a big thing here as well is to listen to what the crowd are liking in the previous matches. Like if you're on third in the card, or if you're on first, then it's not so bad. But you've got to remember, if you're on first, you're basically warming the crowd up.
Aye, yeah.
So you don't want to be doing too much, and you don't want to be doing too less, obviously. But you're there to warm them up. So you're the warm-up act to the rest of the night. So the guys that are on after you or whatever, I mean, it's a big thing there for they should be listening to what the crowd are liking.
Yeah, aye.
So every crowd varies. Like you'll get a crowd that'll pop for the big things.
Yeah, aye. If you've got a lot of kids in, the guy landing big on the mat, the big bangs, and the kids will bang, they'll eat that up.
You're right. I find as well, a lot of the kids, depending on where you are, they'll react to your recognisable moves, like say, I know, choke slams, RKOs, like kind of mainstream sort of moves, but more.
Yeah,
I know what this is.
Yeah, big slams and bangs and that. And then sometimes you might get a crowd that's enjoying the wrestling aspect of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it varies. So, your first match really is your warm-up act to feel the crowd. So, I mean, if you're not saying that you're smart enough, but if you're wise enough to listen to what the crowd are into.
Yeah.
And I've had it before. I've came backstage sometimes and some guys will ask you, like Scotty will ask you, oh, what's the crowd like? And then you say, oh, they're not really popping much for the wrestling stuff, but they're popping for big things.
Aye.
I like big moves and physical stuff.
He'll change when he goes to.
Aye. It could be the BF comedy side of things is getting you the night. There's a lot of they're eating that up.
Yeah. I'm a bit too serious for the comedy stuff.
Well, I thought there's if you're on the pre-show, that's a funny one because you're not quite the opener. You're kind of that sort of funny point. You're not with the full crowd. It's kind of hard to judge, but
like I've done my fair share of pre-shows. Number one jobber right here.
I think you've taken my share of the pre-shows as well.
You done one?
I know.
Aye, okay. Aye, one. See,
I was
He
meant
can't
to be
do-
on one. It was in Montrose, and I politicked my way out of it.
yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
that was that weird triple threat. We've still not seen.
No, I think I got pumped onto that. Ian.
I was
Aye.
you, me, and Farmer Boy. I can't remember his name.
Aye,
We weren't already.
Ted O'Keefe.
That's the one.
Or was it Dino? It was one of them because I had other
Aye.
I had other goals match. Aye.
Yeah. Aye. So, like I said, number one jobber right here.
Right here.
But
There
the pre-show, aye, until this comes out. The pre-shows are, I find they're quite tough because, especially with our crowds, because I mean, like, there's I'm no bad mouthing the pre-show matches that are good, especially for the newer talent. And to be in there with somebody like myself who's been doing it a while, it's fine. You know what I mean? It's good. I enjoy it. But it's hard to read a crowd because there's obviously it's not a full crowd like we usually like for a main show. So it is hard to read a crowd. You know what I mean? So
it is good for them to get the experience. And like, see, you can be lucky. Like I had it with, I think it was a Rumble. I think it was. And we were on the pre-show then. Like I said, we didn't do much. Kept it nice, simple. Got a reasonable amount of reaction for the people that were there.
So that's the thing that the Aberdeen shows are all right because they're still, even though it's the pre-show, they're still a fair amount. If you're working like say Brecon or
it's a lot less. Yeah,
Fraser, it could be maybe 10 people in the pre-show, and I can. It's a lot harder. It's something I feel it's a lot harder working in front of less people than it is.
Yeah, it is.
I still get that nerve. You still get that. Like, even now, I would still get that a little bit of nervousness if it was like say 10, 15. But you stick me in front of say 1,000 like ballroom.
Aye.
I could go out in my underwear and not care less. You know what I mean?
I mean, like you say, the B shows, as we like to call them, like they're obviously a lot harder, but in pre-show context.
Yeah.
But then when you've got your Aberdeen show, like Vago says, I mean, you're wrestling like it is a B show. Your pre-match is like a B show. So you are wrestling in front of 30, 35 people at an Aberdeen show when you're on the pre-show.
Aye.
But it's when we're doing our B shows, our little towns, or you're outside Aberdeen's.
It's Huntley, Keith, and that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a pre-show match on a B show like your Fraserburgh's, Huntley's, Brecon, Montrose, Stonehaven, Newton Hill, or they really are a lot tougher to put together. But I think they're very good for the newer talent coming in.
Actually gives them a chance to at least compete and stretch somebody at least.
Yeah, exactly. Especially it gives them the experience of being in the ring. Do you know what I mean? Let's face it. I mean, if you make a mistake, you make a mistake.
Aye, yeah.
I mean, every single one of us here have made a mistake or forgot a spot or got confused of a spot or
forgot the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I've had a couple of them.
It happens. It literally happens. I mean, I find a lot of the time you could be standing backstage and you're about to go out and you're standing outside the curtain and then the next minute you're in a panic and you're like, what the hell I am doing?
I completely blank and
what the hell am I doing? And then as soon as you step through the curtain, you do your thing, you go in the ring,
you're fine.
And it starts, and then you go, oh, okay. And everything starts clicking.
As long as your match makes sense and it's semi-logical, like once you get the first spot, you can usually comes back there, what comes next and what comes after that, and
Yep.
But yeah,
exactly.
But like you're saying, the guys working this pre-show, it's like it's a good experience because if you can work in front of 5-10 people and get a reaction, then you should no bother doing it in front of 100 people, 200 people, however However many.
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
That's what I get. It's like when you get guys, you'll get guys moaning, "Oh, I'm on the pre-show." It's like you're still on the show.
Well,
You know, it's like we've had experienced a few guys like that, but it's like you're still on the show, so you're still getting that learning experience. Yes, it's not in front of, say, how many people, like 50, 60, 100 people that are at the show you're at, but you're still getting that experience of being in there with a guy more experienced, and you're going to learn at least one thing.
Hey,
You know,
like I said, I mean, I had my fair share. Near last year, obviously, but the previous year to that, I had my fair share of a day in pre-shows and working with the newer guys.
aye.
And it's all how you take it, and it's if the way I used to look at it is right, fine, I'm on a pre-show, but I'm not treating it like I'm on a pre-show.
Aye, let's
I'm
make
a
it
want to
half
treat it
arse.
like in.
Aye.
I'm a want to treat it like it's any other night, it's any other match in the card. I'm not doing too much, but I'm not doing too little.
you just
And
need the right.
in the crowd that are in are got to be pumped up and ready for the rest of the night.
I think at the end of the day, they're still in there paying their money to see you. So that's what you got to see it. So regardless of whether you're the pre-show, main show, whatever, you've got people paying to see, or not specifically you, but guys in the ring.
That's the end of the day. They've paid to see a show, so you give them a show. You're not going to half-arse it. You just go out and give them the best match that you're capable of getting at the time for the spot you're in. It's
exactly.
At the end of the day, but we're here today.
Hey, that's exactly why we do it. We don't do it for ourselves. We do it because let's see if the crowd won. Let's you know what I mean? We're not avid wrestling fans.
Aye.
You know what I mean? So it's them for it's like, right, if I came to a show and you know what I mean? What would I like? You know what I mean?
Aye,
and obviously,
yeah.
I think I'm will start getting a different tandem here. His character wise,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But again, it's fit what I enjoy, fit that I like. You know what I mean? And you're not gotta get everybody liking the same thing. You're not gotta get everybody liking you as a wrestler. You know what I mean? You're not gotta be everybody's cup of tea. But if you can,
that's why you've got 6 matches on a card. That's why there's got to be. So every match isn't the same. So you've got something for everybody that's in the crowd. That's essentially it.
And I think that's a good thing about WrestleZone show is that there is the
variety.
There is the wrestling part. There is the big powerhouse guys. You know what I mean? There is the comedy. There is the serious wrestler.
You've got your monsters, you've got your high flyers, you've got your tag teams, your singles guys, and you've got there's something there. If 5 matches might not be your cup of tea, but there will be something that you will like if you're coming to a WrestleZone show.
There will be one person you'll go, oh, I really liked him.
If there's no something on a WrestleZone show you didn't enjoy, you're just not a wrestling fan. That's at the end of the day.
That is 100% true. That's 100% true.
I think it depends like what's going on like with wrestling actually on TV at the time. It can depend like for sort of reaction. Like if you go, depending on what's on TV at the time, depends on what seems to kind of get people coming shows, getting that reaction. Do you know what I mean? Like say this sort of thing's a big thing on Raw. You do that in a show, it gets a reaction, or the next show you go to, there's something else that's kind of taking over from that. But it just depends. It's wrestling, goes in phases. So one year it could be this is the end thing. This is what gets the crowds in. This style of wrestling, this kind of match, whatever this or what this guy's doing. And then the next month it can be something completely different.
It can be, but that doesn't affect me because I watch very little wrestling these days. I just turn out the time for it.
I'm the same. I tend to stick to the older stuff than the newer stuff.
I watch most of the pay-per-views, but it's like you've got 3 hours of Raw and then another 2 hours of SmackDown. And if you've got NXT on top of that, and you've got AEW and Ring of Honor and that, it's like it's too much. You can't watch that in 1 week.
I'm the same. I tend to just watch. I'll watch the main pay-per-views. Your Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and I might try and watch 1 or 2 in between. But at the end of the day, you're at least what? How long for a pay-per-view now? 4, 5? hours?
3 hours at least. But
I
usually,
think it's 3 hours.
you're usually looking 4 or 5 for the bigger ones, aye.
Well, that's
Yeah.
it. So you've not got that time to, unless you're that type of wrestling fan, that's all you watch is wrestling, and find you'll sit there for 6 hours and just watch it always. I can't. I'll watch it in stages.
It's like last year, I think I only watched like the big four, the WWE pay-per-views. I watched the Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam. I think that's the only 4 pay-per-views I watched, and it's pretty much the only wrestling I watched. Apart from like Garrick, some of your older stuff I go back and watch. And like the current stuff.
I'll go and watch the network because I've got it. I'll watch the network, but I'll constantly watch the older stuff. I'll go through the years. I'll go through I'm gonna sit and watch every WrestleMania up until I still liked it.
I mean, Gary,
I didn't like wrestling.
We're the same age, so we're kind of the same era. We got into we probably would have been into the same. So you're speaking like late 80s, early 90s, and Hogan and Savage and kind of these big massive characters. That's
okay. I've got a question for you two, and I'll answer it first. First wrestling match you ever saw, and I'll tell you mine. It was King Kong Bundy versus Hulk Hogan in the cage. My first ever match, first ever wrestling experience was that I seen that match. Right, same question for Vego. Go for it.
See, I couldn't tell you my first match. Like the first pay-per-views I remember watching would have been WrestleMania 4, maybe 5, and they're like the first Rumble, or the first one, like 89 Rumble, maybe 90 Rumble. That would have been the first kind of.
That's your first memory. Your first
things I remember.
Into wrestling.
Aye, that would have been the first things I can vividly remember. I've seen wrestling before. But aye, that's the ones like the tournament. WrestleMania 4 that was WrestleMania 4.
That was 4, yeah.
The tournament. I vaguely remember that from back in the day.
If it was Hogan and Bundy, was that WrestleMania?
That was 2.
Is that WrestleMania 2?
2.
Yep,
that was it. Locations.
That was it. Yep, that was the first memory of wrestling because my cousin.
I was about to say that must have been on like a video or something because
it was on VHS.
That would have been 85.
Yeah, it was on VHS.
86.
I didn't watch it.
86.
I didn't watch it when I was like 2.
Well, I was going to say because I always remember the first WrestleMania was the same year I was born.
Aye, no, so I didn't watch. I didn't watch Hogan Bundy in the cage.
That's how I work out for WrestleMania is how old I am.
Aye, I wasn't sitting on my mommy's knee, bouncing on her knee, watching WrestleMania 2. No, I saw it on video.
Aye.
Because my cousin had the WrestleMania. I can remember it was purple in the WrestleMania tapes, and he had all the tapes.
All the same home videos.
Yep, that was it. So I remember watching Bundy versus Hogan, and that was it. I was a massive Hogan fan. I mean, I was crying. I was crying for Yokozuna beat him at King of the Ring. Like that's how much a big Hogan fan I was. I was just crying when the camera got flashed in his face. You know what I mean? And when he got beat by Taker, you know what I mean? I was devastated.
See, that even wasn't so much because I was a massive Hogan fan up until Taker came in, and even though he was a heel, I was like, this guy's got, like, even as a kid, I was like, this guy's got, he's just cool as fuck. He's my kind of guy. And I've been like a massive Taker fan since then. And
but you're dark, grungy, heavy metal. Anyway, so it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that a Walking Dead man was right up your street. You know what I mean?
I've got this. I wasn't cutting about with the Motorhead and Iron Maiden t-shirts and on, and the denim and armor was 5-6 years. That came a bit later.
Yeah, I bet he still had the bloody beard on and he was sleeping in a coffin. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
No, but I mean, my guys are wrestling. My favorite guys was British Bulldogs, tag team wrestling. I absolutely love tag team wrestling. I mean, I'll sit and watch tag team wrestling over single wrestling.
We've spoken about this at length training or whatever. We're all just big massive tag team guys, and it just so happens we ended up in tag teams. So it worked perfectly.
Well, using a tag team, I'm a hat clinger on.
I was a clinger on at one point.
I'm not a full member yet. So
Still waiting to be fully badged.
Yeah, I'm just a prospect. Which, funnily enough, I was actually going to wear my jacket tonight, but I thought better than I don't want to look like a dumbass because you when to wear yours. Well, we are came while you're wearing that bandana, Archer. So then that's not a gimmick.
No, that's all the time. Aye. But I mean, that's what fucking 2015. We were thrown together as a tag team. 15. 15. So
I started 15. Yeah.
So how were you told about that? Because I know I was told, like the first kid was born October. I've been training since like 2014. Yeah. Kid was born. It was in hospital, and it was at hospital and in hospital. So it was like the first. I was back maybe the last training before training shut down for the year. So it would have been like end December, and I was in, and I was told, look, Summerhill Cloverleaf was the first show of January. This is what you're going to be doing. You got to be in there where Archer's going to be your tag team partner. This is what you're doing. So when were you told about it?
See, that's the thing. It must have been round about the time you were off, or you went off when your kid was born. It must have been about it. It was mentioned, but it wasn't like you didn't have the finer points. You're just kind of, this is happening. Vago's gonna be going with you, and that was it. And then near the time, that's when you started to get a bit more details, as much as I can remember. And I can't really remember much from that time. I can remember when you come in from everything from there on, but leading up to it, I remember there was the tag match we had before that. And I thought, there's something here we can do.
Yeah, Garrick was involved there.
No, I hear there now.
That singlet and kick pads, that's near Nero Vega when he got back there.
It could have been a lot worse.
That wasn't a good look. Oh, that was terrible.
It was originally going to be you were going to be in a pair of my tights originally. I think that was the original idea.
I was no danger. I was fitting into your tights. Not a fucking chance.
No, I was skinny then. But no, I remember it was when you got told you were coming with me. It was I vaguely remember just getting told, he's coming with you. You're gonna be a tag team, but there wasn't much details. Kind of at the time, we were just gonna try it, see how it goes, and then once it became a thing, it's like, right, your job is to get him up to speed. So okay, so the mindset switched from just being right, I'm just singles guy. Oh, now I'm this guy. I'm going to help him get from here to here.
Aye, because I've said this before. I was nowhere near ready when I debuted. I was pretty fucking close to being ready, and then they threw me in. Like I said, they come back end of December before 2015, and they were told, "Look, you got to be in a tag team with Archer." I was like, "All right, okay." And at the time you think you're ready, and you look back and think, "There's no way near enough training there. It could have been obviously like 2 months off before, and then it was nowhere near ready."
Well, I think it helped also. Well, that time I think I was still coming in on the Sunday sessions, and that wasn't so much.
Well, we were.
I need training sort of thing, but is it? I'll come in here, so I'll work with you guys, and like say Scotty, and then you say, "I'll come in, you can give us a hand, and help the newer guys," and then. So that's what I used to do for. So you did get a different perspective of how things work, and all right, this guy's good, I'm clinging to him, sort of thing.
Right. Because we like I said, you were one of the guys that were in there every Sunday, or like one of the main roster guys. Like every Sunday you were in. Like we got quite friendly at that point, and we worked training matches and whatever together. And
did a good few, yeah.
Brother, when you fucking burst my lip.
Did I?
I can't remember how there was someone about you had been a chin lock, I want to say, seated down. And then you went away and hit the ropes, and you called someone just before you went. I didn't care what you said. Wow. So when you came back, I didn't care to turn my head. I just drop kick full, just right in the chin. Like, batter. Oh, that's it. It's burst lip.
I like him. But I say, you know yourself. You know when things click with guys, like, I can not mess with him, but you can lay stuff in, do this.
Yeah, aye.
And I know he's going to react, not going to kill me. I've had that experience with someone else in this the conversation.
I don't know who.
Oh no, I can't put my finger on him. But actually, I remember when I was that first year with you, and then I vaguely remember when you came in as well. That was what was you started 2013. You started training.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah.
I say, well, I think you must. Was it the year I started training? You debuted. Was it 14? You debuted.
Yes.
Aye.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you were just on shows just as I started training, or just before maybe.
I think you.
Yeah.
I think it was it not like we'd had the ballroom because I think it was me. I had the X Pac match, and I think the next show was like Fraserburgh or something. I think that was your first one.
No, my debut was in the Rumble.
Oh, was it
I
Rumble?
debuted in the Rumble.
Oh, aye, I remember that now. Aye.
Debuted,
yeah.
Yep, debuted in the Rumble.
Good me.
And then yeah, and then I didn't think I was in shows, and then there was a couple of shows, and then I was Anarchy. And then it was after Anarchy, then Fraserburgh was actually my second appearance. So that was awesome. Fraserburgh was my second appearance, but my first match. But actually, Anarchy could have possibly have been my first match because I can't remember. It was Andy Wilde got a call to step in. It was Andy Wilde against Bingo, but I can't remember who it was that was supposed to be there.
Oh, was it not Noam Dar? I think it was.
Aye, it was not.
Was it Dar? And then I'm not sure if it happened with Dar, but he couldn't appear anymore. So they was trying to get out of somebody else, and then they managed to get out of Andy. But it was very, very close to being.
Nice.
We might need you. Yes, we might need to throw you in here, and
that'd be good.
No, it wasn't good. The let's just say the lump in my throat was like, I only had a fuck. You'd be lucky if it was a 10-minute appearance in the Rumble. It was a couple of spears, and then I got chucked out. You know what I mean? In fact, actually, it was one spear, and then I got chucked out. And that was my debut.
You made it look good, did
You did.
I thought you must have been because that after that you were on like a year-long, maybe even more unbeaten run. Like
yes, I was.
You're on a pinned. Like we beat you when you were tagging with Mr. P, but it was always Mr. P we pinned. It was never you.
Yeah, I was.
Which I'm sure Dave's very happy about. I'm sure you like
Well, listen. Let's just say nobody cares what Mr. P thinks. Okay? Nobody cares what Mr. P thinks. No, I'm just joking.
No,
I love Dave. I love Dave, but I love to wind him up even more. Yeah, but no, I went on a quite a big run.
That must have been
they being beat after that, but Fraserburgh, and then it must have been at least a year.
It was just over, I
think. Were you even beat before you went with your injury?
No, I wasn't.
You took time.
No,
I didn't think it must have been when you first got back at the.
Yeah, I tore the meniscus in my left knee.
Aye.
It training, believe it or not, training. I've never had a serious injury in the ring, on show. So I was been training injuries.
Yeah.
But no, that was a bad injury. It hurt like hell.
Aye.
It was. I'm not ashamed to say. I mean, I've got a high pain threshold. I mean, but when that happened, it hurt.
What was it caused that again? I think I was there when it happened.
It was. I think we was like doing it was at Scout Hut, and it was like a training thing for it was like putting heat. It was like putting heat to somebody, and I did a jumping stomp, but as I came down on my left leg was my standing leg, and I just it happened so quick that when I come down, my leg, my knee just blew, and I fell to the ground, and I got back up and tried to walk, and couldn't walk, and got up again and tried to walk, and couldn't walk, and got up again and tried to walk, and couldn't walk, and then I kind of like they crawled, but like slid off a match on my butt, and I remember saying it was Brian Tucker. I remember saying it's like, no, I'm done. And then I was like setting it aside, and then the panic started setting in because I couldn't walk. I could walk, but I really couldn't walk.
Usually if you get a wee knock or something, you can maybe take 5 minutes, and then you're back on your feet and you think, it was just a knock, and then
yeah,
if it's still there, you think, it's no good.
Yeah, it was like minimal weight being put on the leg.
So I was the same. I got cracked ribs at a training session once. The guy that I had looked over.
I remember.
And he just landed heavy on me, and I thought, oh, you fucker. And I thought I was just winded. And I was like,
worst one of the night.
I mind that.
And I was like, it was all right. So like, this was towards the end of the training session. I just sat out the rest. I was like, no, there's someone near right. And then I was like, literally the next morning, like I went home and went to sleep, and I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't sit up. I was like, oh, there's someone near right here. Straight to the doctor. I was like, nah, you've probably cracked your ribs, but it's nothing we can do with it. Just give painkillers and just to sort itself out. I was like, oh.
I hit out with a torn meniscus. Is in training. I'm sitting and I try to walk on it again. And Brian Tucker was, are you sure you're okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not okay. And he's like, okay, I think you should maybe get yourself to the hospital after getting after training. I'm like, that might be a good idea. So I jumped in the car. Obviously, really, really, really struggled to drive a car to A&E. So I got to A&E, could barely walk. Sat in A&E for at least 3 hours.
Standard.
Yeah, then the nurse decides to tell me that they couldn't look at me the night. So if you could come back tomorrow, I'm like, okay. Then I had to basically try and crawl at A&E back to the car and try and drive the car back home, and then try and source somebody to
take you back
give
again.
me a lift. To give me a lift to A&E. The appointment I got was like 11 o'clock, so I needed somebody to take me to A&E the next day, and then I got told it was a torn meniscus, so I was out for about 6 weeks after that.
Aye.
And it's really daunting when you come back after an injury.
Oh, aye.
Because it's always on your mind. So to this day, still to this day, I've never done a jumping stomp ever again. I've never ever done a jumping stomp ever again. And then,
like I said,
my second serious injury, which was a proper serious injury.
I remember this one.
I actually broke my ankle in 2 places.
I remember that one.
That was a rumble as well.
Yes, it was the rumble. It was a training seminar with Andy Wilde.
Aye, Andy.
I mean,
and it was an up and over by the powerhouse Andy Wilde. And I landed on the apron. And
landed just.
Yeah. Landed on the apron, on the edge of the apron with all my weight over the top of my ankle.
lovely.
And jumped off the apron after that happened on the ground and got up and walked on it and was like, oh, that's not right. Hobbled back in line to continue training. Got to the front of the line, was going to climb back up in the ring, and then realised myself, no, this is too painful. I need to sit and take a rest. So I go get changed, sit and take a rest with my foot elevated over the top of a chair. I remember I was sitting with, I ended up sitting outside, and then Crusher, I was sitting with Crusher, and my ankle was absolutely throbbing, like really, really throbbing. And I kept on thinking to myself, I need to rest it, but I can't rest it for too long. I need to keep moving on it.
I was about to say, you still wrestled that night.
Yes, I did. I kept because I kept getting up and walking, and then I was like walking on it, and I was like, right, I'm gonna go to the shop. Right, it was at a Northern Hotel. Yeah, I was like, right, I'll go and take a walk to the shop, right, because that might ease it up a little bit. You know what I mean? I mean, I've damaged tendons and all that in the past,
Aye.
and you know what I mean. So I'm like, it'll probably be damaged tendons. So I went and walked to the shop, which was a really bad idea. Halfway along, I realised this is really bad idea because this really, really, really fucking hurts. And I have to walk all this distance to the shop, but I have to walk the fuck back.
Aye.
So anyway, walks to the shop, hobbles to the shop, hobbles back. And I'm sitting in the seminar's finished now, and we're just sitting. Usually as we do before the show, just sitting, chatting shit. And then I'm thinking, right, and I actually got a match on the card. I says, but I'm in the Rumble. And usually, you can yourself. Usually it shows. Usually, the first person to get changed is Mr. P.
Yep.
And usually, the second person is me. I'm usually after him, like, fuck
Me
it,
far
I'm
behind, aye.
Aye. I was like,
Far
fuck, I'm
behind you, aye.
Right. So obviously, I goes, right, good idea. I'll go get changed. I'll get my boot on. And I'll put a tubing clip on it. And I'll
Strap it
tie my
up,
boots.
aye.
I'll tie my boot. That was it. I was like, I'll tie my boot as tight as I can, and I'll have some support on it, at least when I have a lot of movement on it. So I did that, gets changed. Again, I'm trying to walk on it properly, gritting teeth. So I was like, okay. And I'm thinking, I'm like, I've got to wrestle in this. I was like, I've got to wrestle this tonight. I've got to wrestle in this tonight. So yeah, so I'm sitting watching the monitor and stuff like that, and I'm watching other matches and having a laugh. But I'm sitting down for like 5-10 minutes, and then I'm getting up. And every time I'm getting up, it's getting harder to walk on. So I'm like, right, I need to bide on my feet and try and sit, and then get up and walk a bit on it, keep it going, keep it moving. So it comes time for my appearance in the Rumble. And I'm thinking, I'm like, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? I was like, right, I've just got to get through the pain. It is so amazing. So amazing what adrenaline does to numb pain. I was standing behind the curtain and I was amping myself up. And then by the time I went through the curtain, I had no pain.
Aye.
I had no pain. I hopped up into that ring. I run in, I started hitting people. At one point, I was like, I'm going to want to stomp Andy Wild. And then I put my right foot up, and I'm like, oh no, that's my bad one. I can't stomping him with that. I put that down and went to put my left in up, and I went, I can't put any weight on my right in. So then I just started punching him. And then it's the only thing I could do. And I kept trying to tell people on the sly when they was coming near me, watch my leg,
Aye.
watch my ankle. I grabbed me by my ankle. And then it came time for me, for my spot. I think I was like, Andy Wild came. And then I tried to de-sack Andy Wild and he grabbed my legs. And then I'm like, okay, there's only one way. I can't stop him.
Aye, Andy's a big lad.
He had my legs. He just grabbed the hood of my legs. I think I tried to like double kick him in the corner. And he just caught him. And I just locked eyes with him, and he just went, nah. And he threw me over the top. And I just remember landing. And I thought to myself, I remember landing and going, that hurts really, really bad. But I remember going, thank God that is over. And then get through the back. And did I get through the back? Was I sitting? I think I was sitting with you, Archer, because we
Probably, yeah.
generally sit with each other every backstage at every show.
Interesting, man.
Even before I joined you, me and Archer, the three of us are quite close anyway.
Aye.
And I would sit with each other at shows, where I was shooting the shit, as I like to say. And I remember sitting next to you guys, and because in the Northern, you didn't have big people's chairs. We never had big people's chairs in the back. It's the little school chairs you used to get in primary school, which isn't an issue for me. So I remember sitting down, and I thought to myself, I need to get my boot off because it's really hot and really throbbing. So I get my boot off, and I take the 4 pairs of socks that I was wearing.
As soon as you swelling just goes.
Yep. On the two tubing grips. and I just look at it, and it's purple, it's red, it's yellow. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. So then after the show, I have to drive home, come home, say to the missus, kind of really hurt my ankle here, but I think we'll see how it is in the morning.
I think you said to me, he says, I'm not going to A&E tonight.
No, Saturday night.
Restless mentality. Night. We'll see how it is in the morning.
That was it. Because it was a Saturday night, and A&E's, I was full on a Saturday night, and I ain't got A&E at Saturday night. So I says, I'll leave it till Sunday, see how I am. Because I've never got A&E night. Wake up in the morning. Well, I come home, I near enough a whole packet of ibuprofen and go to sleep. So I would go to sleep, wake up in the morning, conveniently forget that I previously hurt my ankle the night before. Wake up in the morning.
I can see where this is going.
Stand up. Oh, fall back down. And the pain shooting through my foot was unbearable. So I went to go to A&E. So we went to A&E, and I was so fucking confident that I had damaged tendons. I got X-ray, and I was like sitting there waiting for her to come back with the X-rays. I hear double it, telling the missus, don't worry about damaged tendons. It'll be all right in a couple of days. It'll be fine. You know what I mean? Done it plenty of times before. I've never broken a bone in my body in my life. As soon as I said that words, the nurse come in. Oh no, you've broke it. 2 places. I was like struck. I was like, are you serious? I said, yeah, so we'll hate to get you through the cast, and we'll get a cast on you and get you crutches and get you on up road. I'm like, oh shit. So yeah, so I was in crutches, but it 6 to 8 weeks it healed up. But then I think it was like a year later.
Aye.
It was a year later, because I remember speaking to you about it. Remember every time I was saying I'm getting real bad pains in my ankle, and sometimes I couldn't train because I was hobbling.
Aye.
And then I ended up having to go and get an X-ray. Nothing showed up in the X-ray. So then I get an MRI scan. And I got an MRI scan on it, and I needed to get an operation because I had a massive cyst in the joint of my ankle, and I had where I broke it on the tibia, the bone had grew, so it was still growing.
Aye.
So I had to get an operation on that. So then, obviously,
you root for that, and I was out. So I mean, I've been out a fair amount with injury. You know what I mean? Like it through no fault of my own, because I did hold back. Aye,
like you came as much as anybody. I mean, we'll go with the time that me and Archer was opponents, and I tried to spear Archer, and he conveniently moved, and I bust my eye wide open on the ground.
Is that Huntley?
I think it was Huntley.
Aye. Because I remember
Yeah.
me and Dave were at the ringside for that match, and I was like, it was towards the entranceway, and I was on the opposite side of the ring. And I just seen you going flying out the match. I was waiting for that. The way you were going down, like, oh, that's a good landing. And it, like the speed you had getting out the ropes, I was like, he's gone quite far there.
Oh,
And then
Yeah,
you could
I know.
like, and then it's like you've got no bearing on fit kind of because where I was standing, I couldn't see where you'd gone or whatever until you seen Dave's face. I was like, oh, that must be quite bad.
But I remember this because I seen you go out, but I seen you go out the corner of my eye, and I just see you go straight head first. I thought, shit, I've killed him. And I looked up. I said, "I was getting up. That's fine. That's fine. Mikey's still there. Mikey, get the fuck out the road. Get the fuck out the road. Fuck it." So as I hit the ropes, I'm going 100 miles an hour. It's like I'm running. I'm hoping you turn around and say, "Here you are, turn around. Here's me." And I end up like 3/4 way up the steps. And they grab you, throw you in, and I see blood. And I'm like, I said, "Check." I didn't know why I checked myself first. It's like, what have I done? And I look at you because I rode you in the ring, and you were just looking at me, and you just, I just see, like, so I wrote you in, and I'm hearing Dave talking you through. I'm talking you through it. Dave's talking you through it.
Oh, I was on planet. What the fuck was going on? That's where I was.
It's not even so much that. It's the fact that we kept going, and there was a spot later on where you did the cannonball off the apron.
That's right, yeah.
You did
That
that
actually,
and it was a massive fucking clatter. And I was, like I said, I was across the other side of the ring again. I was like, I didn't even need to look at Dave this time. I was like, that didn't sound good. Like he
No.
must have done some damage there.
You know
No,
what
I
it
was-
is? I remember you cannonballed onto me, and I remember looking to my right. I thought there's not much room where we were. I thought, right, if one of these, I didn't want him landing on whoever it was in the front row, so I'll try and kind of be more this way. I just remember you landed me, and I just went down like a sack of spuds.
It was just
It's like-
because it's a hardwood flooring, and it was just
It's like,
batter. I
it
was
was.
like, oh, that's not good.
it was that actually hurt more than trying to spear Archer through the ropes and physically that was my body, like that was the angle I hit the ground, and all my weight went to my eyebrow, which just burst wide open. And the best part of it is I didn't even care I was bleeding. I mean, I banged my eyebrow, and then it was like, ooh, that kind of hurt. And
That's
the only thing
it'll be all right. It's just a heat knock. It's fine. And you didn't think,
hey, the only thing that I thought was, wow, that's got to be a shining. Like I thought I thought it instantly went like Elephant Man. You know what I mean? Because that's how it felt. I thought, oh, that's instant Elephant Man. And then the next minute I hear, because I died even kind of a blanked out for a little bit. I don't think I did, but it really felt like a confusing little moment.
aye.
And then I heard the words, you're bleeding. And it was actually Mikkey. He was such in a panic. Oh my god, you're bleeding. It's like that. Just get out my way.
Mikey Ennis doesn't deal well with blood. He's just
No. It was funny. It was so funny. But at the point of like the miss spear, bust eye, bleeding, cannonball thud, the other stuff we done in the match, and the confusion, because I was like I said, I was on planet what the fuck is going on, and Dave like automatically came to me and was like he's looking at me and he's smiling and he's like, this is awesome.
Dave's old school. He gets it.
Dave's like, this is awesome. This is awesome. And I'm like, oh, me. I'm glad you think it's awesome. Aye. And then, but we had to cut a promo. We had to cut a promo after the match. And I am so confused about where I am, who I am.
Terry Butcher, just the bandage wrapped round.
You're right, was it
I was
a
like,
towel or something, mate?
Mikkey come running out with a towel and said that the management in the back had said, I need to cover this, I need to cover the blood, or I need to I need to wipe the blood. And I'm thinking, Mikkey, the blood is just keep coming. I bust open here, it's just keeping coming, it's keeping coming.
I'm already covered, it's already on my wrist tape and
it's on my wrist tape, it's on my wrist tape, it's on my chest, it's doing my face, it's in my eye.
It's fucking on.
Ken, I'm like, Jesus. And I was so dawdled that I confused what I was saying. So it was something like I was meant to say, oh, you might have won the battle, but the war is yet to be won. And I says, oh, you might have won a war, but the battle is yet to come. So I'd got my words in the wrong way. So when we looked at the tape, the promo that the wrestlers were released, they'd edited my bit out. So
we'll just cut it there. That'll do it.
We'll cut his bit out because you're obviously speaking absolute shit.
Out your arse.
Well, out my arse, but I didn't care where the fuck I was.
But some of them, like that was my fun, and we were battling you and Mr. P, and that was some of the best matches. Like you're saying about Neil and back, that one we had at Blackburn. But I knocked your tooth loose. I'm the one responsible for you wearing the mouth guard.
Yes, that's right. Aye.
Beforehand, we'll just go. We're gonna head back and we'll just not fuck at each other for lack of a better term.
I think that was my fault for saying that. Like, you better not head back because I ain't. I think that's the kind of why I says to you.
That was about the gist of it went on. Yeah, but
I was like, I ain't heading back, so. I expect. I think if you're got a D and he went, I'm not heading back. And I was, oh well, let's see if it happens. And yeah, sure enough, wobbly front tooth at the hands of Vego's 3 elbows.
I remember watching that. I was sitting because the way that video was, you could watch it on the monitor. There was one of that, what do you call it, gym hall, with the netted sheet things in the middle.
Yeah, it's curtained off like in the middle eye.
So you can stand outside and watch the whole thing. So you've seen about the second rope up. So I'm watching this going, they're really laying their shit in. It's good.
It was
when you come back, you're like fucking hug your mouth.
It was fun because I think I think that match ended in a disqualification, did it not?
Yeah,
I think a no contest because we just started or a count or something like that. I can't remember, but it was just like every every punch, every kick, every move, everything we was doing was just like 100 mile an hour, and like I'm that we was gonna try to hurt each other.
It's like, you were laying it in.
We could take it, and we'd already said beforehand that like it'll need no apologies. It is what it is. We'll just
I think it was either them was like, let's see how much you can actually take. Because at one point, I think it got to that point in that match for it was like, okay, that was hard, but here, take this.
Aye.
And then it was like, oh, that was harder. This is harder. No, this is harder.
Aye,
this is harder.
Just escalates one level and then the next level, and But yeah,
I think that night, I think it needed a point for one of us to get to our threshold and say, right, that's enough. But I never. As we were saying before we started, like we've got the old man pride, the OMP.
Yeah,
the OMP thing.
We've always had this thing at training, me and Garrick. It's like we've got this old man because we're both 36 now, and we're kicking on in years, and like all these young boys are coming in, and they're on their early 20s, but if they come in and they run for so many minutes, we have to go longer. If they do so many push-ups, we have to do more. It's just this old man fighting. It's just pushing even the kids. It's starting to get to the point. It's just pushing each other to get.
It's a good laugh.
To go further and better and longer, and
we always do it. If I can run longer, or I can run faster, or I can do something, or and then I look at you, and you're looking at me, and it's like okay, I'm going on.
Aye.
And then Vago, 9 times out of 10, Vago kind of like pulls it out of the bag, and then I've realised I've got to go, right, okay, let's up it here.
Aye.
And
That was good, but watch this.
aye, but it, like Vago will admit, like even like say it's Dave with their way, or one of the owners or one of the trainers. I mean, me and Vago literally get told to calm down. We literally get told to calm down, but there is certain people that wind this up a little bit. Is in, oh, you gotta let a young boy away with that. You gotta let a young boy away with that.
It just that's that, like Connor, young Connor goes in and does something. It's like, okay, you see what he can do. It's like, well, watch this.
Exactly. It's like, you gotta let a young boy away with that. You know what I mean? Then it's
Bradley's in there doing that. He's got 15 years on you. It's like, we'll see about
that. Aye. It's just it's a OMP thing,
but it's this thing. It comes behind kids. It's like you've got to be better than the kids. It's like just something that pushes you.
It's like the Fast Show. Remember the Fast Show? It used to be on telly. Archer had that kind of young mind that you would young for that. The Fast Show, and there was competitive dad.
Yeah.
There was competitive dad.
Aye, that's us training.
That is me and Vago. We are the competitive dad. It's like, no. I can't stand a young person beating me. It's like,
but like you said, it's this old man. That's the motto we've got. Old
it's
man.
The same, you see it yourself. You know when you get new guys come in and train, he can do whatever thing in this time or this speed. Well, right, okay, watch this. It's a motivation thing. It kind of motivates you to do it that way a little bit better and just prove you can still do it.
So that's why I think we get on well in Wednesdays. It's just because like your bubble is, we've got me and you and Dave P, and we're the old guys of the crowd, and then you've got young Connor and Bradley, and it's like these young boys. And like I said, Zach Dynamite, he was in for a while, and it was like, well, if you guys are doing this, then we have to go that way a bit longer because we're. It's just that.
Aye.
Mentality.
We've got the old man pride mentality. It's like no. You need your depth here, young boy. This is how we do it.
Well, like
you know what I mean?
That's kind of why it worked. You joining up with us, like in the Rejected. There's a third man because we've always had some sort of connection between the three of us. Like we were battling each other, and we've always, like you said, we're always sitting backstage together. Because we had this, me and Archer, we've had this discussion going on for years now. Like we're supposed to, we not once have we ever said we're a biker gang. Not once have we ever mentioned the biker or gang. Those words in that order or by themselves. That's just what we've been associated with. So it's like, well, if we're going to be a gang, we need to be more than two people. It's like, well, we've had this discussion. We've seen guys come in and go, and like originally it was Nathan North. He come in and he had the long hair and the beard, and he had the right kind of look.
It was name,
and it was like, it could work.
There was sitting there,
and then he cut his hair. I was like, oh well, that's that. It doesn't work now. And then for a while, there's been other, like we spoke about Bradley for a while. He was on about, they were on about taking him off singles and putting him in some sort of tag team. I was like, well, we spoke about it. That it wasn't like this, the management around, but me and Archer spoke among ourselves. It was like, well, if he's going to be a tag team guy, we could bring him in with us, and we could show him the ropes. He could change his gimmick on off. It kind of would work.
Yeah.
And then he, like you said, he was thrown in with the Foundation, Dynamite, and Riley. And then we joked about for a wee while, young Connor. I said he could just be the Spike Dudley, and we just throw him about and whatever, and like it wasn't anything serious, but it was like there was someone. But there must have been some time, maybe probably about 2 years ago now. We were in. I want to say Peterhead. We were working a show. It was certainly Peterhead. I'm sure it was Peterhead. I'm sure it was. Must be about 2 years ago now. And we were working a show there, and we were in in the ring before the show, just warming up with our doing our thing, and we were there. And obviously, you were on this massive losing streak, Garrick. And you were getting beat every show, and every show I was like, this is getting beyond a fucking joke and whatever. And it's like, well, and we just joked to it, says, oh, just join us. But I've only got the hair. It doesn't matter. I don't need the hair and the beard. It's kind of the attitude that gets you in. It's like, it could work because you've got Archer's the high flying guy, and at the time I was doing the brawling plus the power kind of thing. It's like, well, you could be the power guy and I'll be the brawler. We can make it work. And we joked about it for a while, and it was bandied about for a few months after that. And eventually it got to the point, it was like the Foundation were a 3-man crew.
Because we started having the issues with them.
It's like, well, if they're a 3-man crew, why can we not be a 3-man crew? Like I said, we'd spoke about it for years up to this point, and it's like, we could actually make a go of this, and we could use it doesn't necessarily need to be a tag team and a singles guy. We could do the Freebird thing where it could be any two was tagging up, and I know, Garrett, you're a big pusher of this. Again, the Freebird.
Definitely.
Well, I could tag with us, and then it got to the point. I want to say it was like we were feuding with the Foundation. And you were feeding with the Foundation at the same time.
Yeah, well, they started fucking with me, so.
And it was like, okay, so let's take this seriously. But I'll go to the booker and we'll put this pitch across that Ken Garrick joins us. It might need go for it, but we can get a try. So I said, all right, okay. So I want to say, I can't remember when it was, but I was doing a promo for some show somewhere. I want to say it was Ellen. It was me and
could have been somewhere.
Me and Big Caleb, I think, were in a singles match, and I was cutting a promo, whatever. And the promo was what it was. And then afterwards, I was like, "Look, can I have a word?" I says, "About this thing we're doing with the Foundation. If we get a third man," and I had this big spiel plan where it was like, if he said, you can hear this, it makes sense to be this guy, and if he's doing this and this, the next thing, and he's like, you can hear Garrick. I'm like, for fuck's sake. Right, okay. And that was it, and that was us. We were rolling after that.
Yeah, because you originally thought he was got a.
I didn't. I thought
you originally thought he was got a newbie.
Well, it wasn't so much a newbie. It was. He wasn't even going to go for it in the first place. And I was like, I had all these arguments set up if he wasn't going to go for it. And it's like, we could do this, and but then if we do this way and bring him in this way and whatever, and he was like, we can get Garrick. I'm like,
okay.
That's sort of that then.
But that's the thing. Nobody filled me in on that. Like this was happening. Nobody filled me in. So I think I had a discussion with management about like not necessarily if it was going on, but definitely having a conversation, and they agreed that they seen me more as a tag wrestler.
Aye,
and I thoroughly agree with that. I said I thoroughly agree with that. Says I prefer tag wrestling. I'm much more suited to the psychology of the tag wrestling. I love watching tag wrestling. Tag wrestling's my thing. You know what I mean?
Aye, yeah.
And then that was it. That was the discussion that I had. That's how I got told. I never got told nothing about like what was happening. And then I think it was the next show. What was it? I think that's when Vago said, "Oh, by the way, you're becoming our bitch, basically."
Get yourself some denim.
I was like, I ain't named you bitch. That's not happening. That's not happening. No, obviously we proved that by having our little disagreement, shall we say, Vago, in the car park.
In the car park, we got
the meeting that
idea.
The meeting that Archer set up. You know what I mean?
It worked, didn't it?
But that's the thing. Like we'd always been very serious up to this point. It was always in promos and it was always, we're going to do this to you, and we're going to kick your ass or whatever. And maybe just before we brought you in, we were kind of filming a bit more stuff where it was a bit more, we're throwing a bit more humour in. Like the one that springs to mind is the one we did for the, what would it have been, 2018 Aberdeen Anarchy, the titles versus hair match.
That was the year before.
Was it 17? Was it? Right, okay.
Yeah, right.
So we start throwing this back.
Yeah, I think I was 17 because I was in a room for that.
No, it must have been 17. Because we worked the imports the first 2 years I was there, and then 17 we were working the Sterling brothers, and it was the titles versus hair match, and we did this promo, and we must have been there about half an hour, if no longer, with this mannequin head, and it was like there was two banners behind us, and there was somebody poking through with a mop head. So like the mop was on top of the mannequin head, like hair. So we were sitting with the scissors in our hand, and we had this line coming up, and I couldn't. It was coming, and what was the line again?
Is it here today, gone tomorrow? I think it was.
Here today, gone tomorrow, and the guy behind was getting whipped the mop off. So it was just like a kind of baldy mannequin, and I couldn't. It was coming, and it took me about half an hour before I could get to that bit without breaking. I was just in tears. Every time I'd like to this bit. I would kind of any match need to practice whatever, and we're doing this with the scissors out in hand. Here today, and that was me. I was gone. And that was,
they were going to edit it was like it was Homer Simpson going yoink.
Yoink, that was it. Yoink. Like the hair disappears off the top of the head. And that was me. We must have been there about 20 minutes, half an hour trying to film this thing. It was terrible. And like that, like you boys ken me. Like I'm no one for messing up a lot of promos. But for a div, it's normally because I ken if it's coming or I just break. Somebody else goes wrong and I just kind of hold it in.
No, I mean that. Did I try and say that you didn't break like a bit of porcelain glass?
I'm with it.
You break like a church window's glaze. Do you know what I mean?
I can't deny that.
You're the first team to go. You're the first team to go.
I'm terrible for it.
Like you doing promos with you and Archer. It's amazing.
And then especially because I've got this it's name maybe a perfectionist thing about me. So if someone doesn't go quite right, I have to do it again and again, and it's like and then like you said, it's like if someone goes wrong, and it's like I just can't help myself. I've never spent so much time like filming promos as I have being part of the Rejected.
Usually takes more than one go.
I'm being serious with you. My promos when I was a singles guy, or even with Dave, even with Mr. P. I didn't have to do a lot with Mr. P.
Dave's
keep his mouth shut.
He's a one take man. He's in and out.
Oh, he just yaps. So I don't need to say much. And with being part of the Rejected is my part is always really at the end, but we never really get to the end much.
You only need to do one or two takes.
So I get to really concentrate and think about what I'm gonna say. And when I'm ready to rock and roll, it's never an easy stumbling block because Vago breaks, and then inevitably I end up breaking, and then if Vago doesn't break, Archer goes on his tandems. He goes off his
tangent and he keeps going. He's like, Archie, I'm in the woods. Like, come back.
He starts off well, and he's on a yellow brick road, and then all of a sudden he just goes left, and it's
the wrong turn.
You're standing there and you're like in character and you're thinking and then you're like listening and then you're like, okay, I'm lost. Like, and then Fitting heavily what happens is Archer will still be on his tangent, and I'll lock eyes with Vago, and then
Is that gone?
me and Vago will just look at each other, and that's it. We came like he's gone. Again, and usually either Vago or me will hate to tap you on the shoulder and go, right, stop. But to your credit, you do realise you do just like as soon as you get a tap on the shoulder, you do stop and then you go, I don't give what the fuck I was saying.
but our promos have always been like we never got it. Like very few promos have been one take. There's always been multiple takes because either one of us fucks it up or I'm breaking or it's just a comedy of errors. Like the ones we did before Anarchy.
19, I think it was.
We did the parodies of the outfit and the foundation. Like the foundation one wasn't bad. We got that one pretty much first time, but that one with outfit. And it was like come in and I've forgotten to take my jumper off, so I've still got this hoodie on the top of my shirt on, and then
you came in the corner with the pitchfork.
And the Archer was gone. But it's like it's just we've got this.
I remember whenever you guys was maybe got to shoot a promo or something like that, and you used to ask like maybe somebody to film it. I'm like, I ain't filming it for you. Why? That's just because when I got that long to do it, and I ain't filming it for you because you take too long. Like I said, my promo shit, I'm used to going in, boom, like one take, maybe two to fine or tweak things, and I'm done. That's me. I'm sorry.
Maybe us.
We use. Like I've realised that. Okay, it's got to take maybe a little bit of time here. So I think to myself, well, maybe I should ask him to speak first before their bit. But it doesn't work that way because I speak first. I'm meant to speak last, or I'm meant to speak at that.
Like you're meant to be the straight guy now. That's the.
I did. I mean, our our promo at the carnivals was just
that was like
that was amazing.
We walked in like that one and the one we played cards where there was it was montages, so there's no much of us speaking, so I was like, those are tremendous. But like that one at Cadona's, and we walked in and we've got our gear on, the jackets in our hand, and the security guard took one look at us. I think we got to get me lobbed out here in about 5 minutes.
I honestly think he really thought we was in here to like rob a place. It was fucking amazing.
Like there's us three, and then there's Malice. It's like, just get out.
Here's the door.
Considering it's the best time I've ever spent at carnivals. I'm not even joking. It was phenomenal. Like I've never laughed so hard just all my life.
The best part of you just fucking about, for lack of a better term.
It was just acting like big kids and just filming crap. And same with the card game. I mean, the card game Tina's like 3 years to film. That wasn't that because long. It was that long.
Maybe felt that long.
It was definitely a couple of years. But,
if I was filming, it probably felt that long.
Again, what a fucking laugh! And to be honest with you, half the time, like I was, you can me. Like I am a serious guy when it comes to being in a ring and behind it and through the curtain, but behind the curtain and behind the scenes, it's like I am like one of the. I'm not gonna bum myself up, but I think I'm a really funny. I get people laughing.
Aye,
like everybody. I get people. I like ribbing people. I like hearing a laugh. Some of the crap I come along with half the time is just absolutely ridiculous. And 9 times out of 10, Vago's the first thing to start laughing. You know what I mean?
But like I said, like 17, when I mean, for me, first started injecting some humour into this thing. I was like, well, we'll keep going with this, and we'll try and get the old DX thing going with Triple H and Shawn Michaels. the same thing, but the same vein, if kind of the same kind of thing.
Just bringing in a little bit of realism to you'd have to be serious at the time.
It's like we can be fucking about, but we're still got to go in there and can win matches and kick asses and whatever. Right. And then we brought you in. I was like, well, we can do the same kind of thing, except we're still the DDX thing, but you can be like the China kind of guy, you're the straight guy, and you try not to break or whatever, and eventually there's some humour played in. So eventually, down the line, that's where it comes in. You're one of the boys in that.
It involves the team as well. I think that's what it was needing. Like a couple of years in, we kind of needed that just to evolve it just a little bit.
Aye, it was like we were doing this. Like we'd been heel when we came in, and then we turned face, and then we'd done that. And I was like, well, we need to freshen it up somehow. So we started doing injecting a bit more humour into it and whatever. And then, like, obviously, we've got the third man now, so the 3-man team. So that's fresh then. And like I said, like you were saying with the card game and the doing the Cadona's promos and we were just getting rolling, and then I hadn't shut down. And like the amount of ideas we had going forward for that.
It was the third one. The next video we were gonna do we'd spot about ideas. And I was really looking forward to that one. Because right, we've got heaps of ideas floating. Oh, I'm really looking forward to this. Then, boom.
I
mean, like you said, it wasn't just that. I mean, like the creative brain was starting to tick over.
Aye.
You know what I mean? We was all putting our heads together. Like there was never a moment for it wasn't me. We was coming into training. We was coming into training. You know what I mean? If it was Archer and me, or it was Vago and me, I was like, oh, here, I seen this, blah blah blah, and I've thought about da da da. You know what I mean? Like we've spoke at length, especially with me and Vago, about maybe spicing it up a little bit with a new logo, or do you know what I mean? And we've both been coming up. We've all been coming up with ideas and doing things and sending things into our chats and stuff like that. And sending things into our chat and that. You know what I mean? To take it to the next level. Because first and foremost, we are close friends in the business. To be honest with you, I mean we have been for years. Like we can keep kayfabe but we've been very very close for years. You know what I mean? And it's very very.
That's what it comes a lot
rare. I would say it was very rare to be.
It comes a lot easier for your pals, as opposed to being forced in with somebody you're not that close with. Like like some of the guys that we might have brought in before, we weren't that close with to start with. Like say Nathan North. I mean, Bradley, I'm good pals with now, but at the time when we thought about bringing him in, it was like we weren't that close.
Aye.
No. But I think it helps the three of us being close pals anyway. It kind of works.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have to fake the connection there.
No.
And in the same time in ours, it's like we've been close for years, and I can honestly say that I could take criticism of stuff, but I generally stick to listening to used to if I think something is in a better terms a bit shit. Or I feel a bit shit.
If it's not clicking or whatever,
I feel a bit shit, or if I can't come up with something, I'll say something to use, and then we kind of get together and say to ourselves, "Oh, fit if you try that there instead of that." You know what I mean? It's either them for it's like I can if I'm stuck with something that I can turn to you or like Archer or Vago.
Aye.
And they'll hear why you it or all right, try yes. You know what I mean?
Aye.
It is a rare thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think other boys at WrestleZone were quite. I think there's a lot of dislike or
tight knit group of guys. Anyway, it's like the old DCW kind of mentality. It's like we're
like you sing from together. Yeah,
we're up there wrestling. This is your group. This is who we are.
Yes, I think WrestleZone's like that, especially with other boys. I think backstage, I mean, there's nobody truly that you really didn't speak to or get on with. There's not really a lot of politic bullshit or backstage crap. You know what I mean? Like
it's like you would hear you would hear any of them guys' backs, and you would expect them the same for you.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, like everybody doesn't get along with everybody, or everybody's not everybody's cup of tea. But
your main sort of group of guys that you usually hang out with.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but like we're all like you say, it's an ECW type mentality. It's the promotion in the show first,
and
your personal feelings after. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's why I look at it. And it's the same with getting. It's the same.
Everybody's working for the benefit of the show. Is the end of the benefit of the promotion.
And you can honestly say and admit that WrestleZone isn't got to be everybody's cup of tea. You know what I mean? But I think they're sitting there for everybody.
Like
and I think that's a mentality that with Irish head. There's something there for everybody.
We've got a like I said before, we've got this broad roster of guys, and if you kind of find somebody on that show you can connect with, then it's
there for you.
It's not for you in the first place. That's
you want to with this sort of thing with wrestling. You can't please everybody anyway. So like you say, we've got kind of because we aim for more family friendly than we do over 18s. You can at least appeal to 98% of people.
Yeah.
You compare to the grandparents or the young kids and that, or whoever comes to the shows with them, you at least got something there that go, even like guys that have not watched it for years and go, but then, he reminds me of. You've
always got this thing that guys say, it's like, like the dads or mums that bring their kids to the shows and they've no interest in wrestling. But if you can get them to suspend that disbelief, the parents of the kids who are not interested in the first place, if you can get them to go, this is just fake, it's just nonsense, it's just pantomime or whatever. If you can get them thinking just one thing and they kind of figure out how you did that and it looks real as fuck, I think that's what you're aiming for.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, like I said, there's nothing better than having a crowd full of kids.
Aye.
Because the noise and the just excitement that they throw into a show,
it takes up another level.
Is so much better than adults.
Well, that reminds me, we did a gala we did, say a few years ago, and I remember I was going. It was Port Lethen Gala, so I know what they were like. All that was around the ring was kids, like literally a sea of kids all the way around. And one of them shouts at me, he says, RKO. I said, right, okay, so we'll go in. Thunder's in there. I said to him, right, when he gets up, hit him with an RKO, hits him with it, and there was a whole arena full of kids. All you heard was screaming. And like out in the gala, all he did was hit an RKO, and these guys, it sounded like there was like hundreds of people there. There was only maybe about 20 kids.
That's the thing I've missed most. Well, apart from connecting with the boys like we're doing just now. But apart from that, the thing I missed most last year was the galas. I fucking love a gala.
Yeah, galas are they're something else and they're something different.
It's just good and just complete nonsense, and you just take the time of your life, and it's not necessarily a wrestling it's there.
That's what I can never understand. Like we've had guys who I can't make this a gala, I can't make this gala. It's like some of the best work you'll probably do, or probably the best fun you'll ever have. Because I remember it was one year, I don't know what year it was. There was not a lot of guys could make the show, so I was one of the same guys like me, Aspen Faith, maybe yourself, Lego, and it was like it was the same few guys for those galas. So you were having to keep doing different things, work with different guys. You were getting to work with guys you wouldn't normally work with on show. Plus, you could steal other folks' stuff.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the first one I worked properly was the used to be Union Square before they did Anarchy. And that was the first kind of gala I worked, and I was every match in that show. It was Archer or wrestling myself or a tag team match or triple threat, and I must have worked maybe 12, 14 times that day.
You know what that was? Because Archer couldn't do it anymore.
No, I think I actually worked. I think I actually worked you, Archer. I think I worked you twice. I think I worked you both as a tag team because I remember tagging with Crusher, and then I remember I wrestled you and I wrestled Vago. I think.
Probably.
So we must have.
I think I wrestled Abby that day.
Yeah, I think we wrestled each other at least twice that day.
Like we were heels, and I think I wrestled like every face was there. I wrestled them in some capacity, like whether it was because I worked singles, tags, 6-man tags. I worked a couple of triple threats plus the battle royal at the end.
I was about to say then we finish it off with the battle royal.
I missed the battle royals. They were ace. Good fun.
No, the last. I think actually the last gala. What was the last gala? The last gala that we did was Hardow House.
I wasn't at that one.
I was.
No, you wasn't there.
That was famous door.
No, Archer did the year before for the big league that day. Took the dressing room himself.
Oh yeah.
But no, that was the year we did. But I like that. My finest gala moment was that you're on about where I bumped Valhalla out the fire doors and locked him out.
That's right, yeah.
And then we come back in for the battle royal, and he just dropped me completely the ring because you bumped in, you tripped.
That's right. He Valhalla actually had you over the ropes.
Aye, I was up on his shoulders, teetering.
I thought I'd go and mark a save, and as I went to make the save, I kind of stumbled a little bit and knocked Valhalla,
and he dropped
which inevitably put Vago out on his almost on his teeth.
That was one of them, and it was like, oh, this hurts. I can't move. I'll just need to lie here for a wee while. And there's guys, you could see guys at the top of you, try to tip boys at the top. Didn't do that because I can't move. Just go to the other side.
I think Valhalla threw me just nail long after that, anyway.
I could well have been, but aye.
Because like I said, I tried to mark a save, but I kind of tripped on the canvas a little bit.
Blame my trainees for that one.
That was the same day that I tried to grab. I was wrestling Zach Dynamite.
Mind this.
And I tried to grab him through the middle rope, but he was too far. So I stepped over the middle rope and still couldn't reach him. But obviously we've got the curtains, like topper. You know what I mean? Like it's a sign.
Nice.
Like wrestlers sign, and they're very
slidey.
I would say slidey. And I stood on that and tried to reach him, and he was too far. And then my foot gave way, and it's lucky I was holding on the middle rope, and I twirled through the middle rope, and just managed to stop myself from falling. And that was one of my finest moments. That was on the guardrail.
I think I did that once. It was fun enough. It was the 6-man with Devon Dudley. They're giving me grief like hairy bikers, hair riggers, greasy hair. And I said, go to jump up the second rope, and I nearly went right with the effing ring. I'm like I was to help myself. I was like, no. But I just went to turn it, and I did one worse than that. You guys wouldn't have seen this. Well, Garrick, you might have. I was teaming with Brian Starr in the second version of the Outcast, and I went to walk up the ring steps. Well, one foot decided to miss the steps, and I went flat in my face. And oh my god, the room was in hysterics.
We've all had it though, tripping over the ropes.
I was about to say, I had a cane because I can't really ever remember Vago having one of them moments.
There was
on a show or
that Union Square I was on about. I mind the first match I was at was with Tucker, and it had been raining, so the mat was weak, and it was one of them where it was, can you hit the ropes and you go and shoot the guy off and you go and rope, and you're just running on the spot because you can't get any traction. that was probably the closest I've been, but it's one of them. you can get away with it as a heel because you just play it off as I can.
Aye.
As a face, it's a lot harder to play them off. But aye. But I think that's the one that springs to mind was that wet mat at the Union Square gala we did. And it was just...
That's the fun bit about galas. I remember when I wrestled Tucker Duffy Park and it just been bucketing down the rain. And I remember every time we shot one of each other off, it's like you were literally just sliding.
Aye.
And weirdly enough, that same day there was a band playing in a bandstand. So as he's bumping me about, throwing me about, he literally hit me in time to "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen. So it's like the whole time he's hitting me, I'm just pissing myself laughing. It's like I shouldn't have found this funny, but I do. One of the highlights so far.
Aye.
Oh gosh.
But I mean, like, the situation, not just us, but I think everybody in the country, or even across the world, is. You know what I mean? There's no, like, you miss the simple things.
Aye. Like I said,
you know what I mean? Right now, I miss the simple things.
Just chatting with the boys, catching up with the boys, and that's like tail end of last year we were back and we're training bubbles or whatever it was. So it was like 6, was it 6, 5 or 6 guys, whatever it was.
Six people, yeah.
And it's like, even that was just, it was someone, you were catching up with some of the boys, and then, but it's just that backstage mentality, catching up with Abdi and seeing what Abdi's doing, and no hearing that is the worst thing, I think.
You notice how much you miss until you hit, because that's what I noticed. It was probably say 2-3 months into the first lockdown they did. It's like you get to the weekend, it's like, what do I do? So you're missing that, seeing the boys, and it's like, so you're trying to think, like, what I need something to fill this void, or I'll speak to them online, but it's like it's not the same as actually seeing them.
Aye.
Well, it was. I mean, it was so. The first lockdown was so gutted because Rumble was coming up.
It was literally a week before and it was shut down. Because I worked. We did the show at the academy. I think you boys weren't there for that. I worked fucking.
No, I wasn't there.
I worked Alan Stirling that, and that would have been start of.
That would have been
start of March.
Was it March?
February, start of March.
Yeah.
First week of March, maybe, and then, like I said, there was the lockdown just literally the week before Rumble, and that was it. Both I was shut down, and that was like I said, that's been us for. We got back to training at the tail end of the year, and then that's
September, wasn't it?
It
was September, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was September. We got back.
It was nearly October for you, because I was in a different group for you boys, and I think I was near start of October by the time I ended up doing it.
Aye.
Yeah, so we must have been like because I remember obviously the gyms have shut again, but the gyms had opened up, and I can honestly admit that's apart from wrestling and shows, and I mean that's the thing I'm missing. I really missing the gym. I mean, I am working out. I am doing home workouts at home.
Aye, it's not the same.
It's not the same, and it's not the motivation.
Aye,
is not as much. Like I'm still doing it, but again, it's like I hadn't missed a day working out through the hell once the gyms got open again. I mean, I never missed a day. I mean, I was working hard.
That's right.
Because I mean,
when the first lockdown came about, that was that March, and I was like, I'm gonna get the best shape of my life. I'm gonna wrestle with a t-shirt on or whatever. And it lasted about 2 weeks, and I just I'm not a big gym guy anyway. Like I get running, I could run for miles and miles. And I just 2 weeks and it just went fucking boof, no motivation. That's it. Fucking batting the beers. It's like that. And I was like, I kept pitting. I got back into running for a while, and I was running for a few months, and then it just dropped. I was on holiday 1 week, and I thought, well, I'll take a week off. I just never got back then. I pushed it back and back and back, and it's still not happening. Like I've been lucky enough that I'm an athletic enough guy, so the cardio can still. I've still got the cardio to do things. But it's like just the Like, that's why I was happy to get back to training last year, just
At
to
least
do
it was-
yeah.
something.
Get you in that sort of ring shape, well, close
Aye.
to it.
Like, knock some of the rust off at least. But aye.
Like I didn't particularly like running, right? I'm not a big runner, right? I can, but I particularly don't really
Aye,
enjoy running.
It's nice.
Yeah,
Some
everyone-
things
Give
are
me a
fairty.
bike, stick me on a bike,
Aye.
and I'll cycle for miles and miles. I love cycling a bike. You know what I mean? And I'm in lockdown, give me that. Like I got back out on a bike. You know what I mean? And I enjoy it. I enjoy going out on a bike. But it's just like you say, it's finding the motivation.
And to get out and do it.
Yeah, because there's nothing, like you say, everybody's in the same boat, and you can't really hear a sob story or, oh, my life is over. It's like
Guys,
everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's in the same boat. You know what I mean? It's just one of them things, and hopefully it finishes soon. You know what I mean? So we can get back to some sort of normality.
Well, like I said,
Which I think,
I spoke about this with Scotty. It was like, Ken, we're on about, when it started in March, it was like, we can get back by June. And then June turned into Halloween, and then Halloween turned into Christmas. And then now we're back into lockdown again. And it's, even if you get back to some sort of normality, the shows might need to be there for another for months, years even before they're back to normal.
But at least, well, depends how this lockdown goes. I can see it being well near the end of the year if we do get in. But then it depends how they've got it set up. Because obviously, well, these COVID safety measures and whatever else they've got to do.
I can see this year being a complete write-off again. Just
I think so. Yeah.
this could be another year on just nothing.
I think it varies, and I think it will depend very much on how the vaccination goes.
Aye.
You know what I mean? Depending on how they can roll that out. I mean, I think they possibly, I'd say maybe the mid time of the year. Do you know what I mean? Maybe when it comes to summer.
If you get a couple of galas, maybe, but it's outdoors and you're not policed as much such. You can get around it a bit that way, but even then, it's like, has anybody got a bother like setting up that kind of thing?
I think at the same time in ours, I think if we are, as a country, if we are still in lockdown this time, like, well, in another year's time, I think there's something very far wrong with the system. You know what I mean? But like you say,
then a lot of it is folk tat in the past. I was like,
yeah, definitely.
Like the last lockdown, and they opened that hand back up again, and I'd just took the piss. And if they hadn't took the piss in the fucking first place, we wouldn't be here for right now. We might have been might have been open again, but we would have been a bit further along than far we were. It's like,
exactly.
Just folk can't behave.
It's a folk doing the kind of, like, you heard it, and you hear like a lot of folk doing kind of raves and that, and like disused buildings. It's like, the fuck are you doing? It's like, stick to your own little bubbles, and we'll get through it, and we'll actually be able to get back to normal or close as.
Just stick to the rules. That's it, plain and simple. Is
we can
stick to the rules. Like everybody's different. You know what I mean? And everybody's got their own way of doing things and what they like to do. And there's people here that love to go out for a drink every weekend.
Aye.
You know what I mean? But right now, just like, that's a part of life you can live without.
Actually,
you know what I mean? Like you
can
live without all that.
It's like 10 years ago, I'd have been all that kind of, I've been drinking or kind of been in the pub every weekend or whatever. It's like, well, just knock it in the heat for a wee while and you'll get it a bit sooner.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
you've still got like a week now when we're not in the same building, but you can still kind of do it now, you know. Maybe not the same extent weekends, but
you're still having your drink, but I mean, like you say, it's one of them parts. Like, if people in general would stop messing around and just simple things, just follow the rules, man.
Get your mask out your fucking nose.
Yes.
Oh,
Exactly.
the amount of
Gotta
people
get
that
me
are
fucking
bashing
started.
that. Oh, oh,
This my fucking tits in.
it's a folk. You see, I was at like Home Bargains or something like that. I was going past them, and I was ages ago, and you had folk queued all the way along the length of the building, but they're right up the arse of each other. It's like, what about this staying apart? And it's like, do you really need a fucking cheap pot and pan that you're maybe not gonna use once? You know what I mean?
It's just
Yeah.
a nonsense. That is.
Can I just interrupt there and say that in no way, shape, or form does Mickey Vago's Mosh Pit endorse certain companies, which Archer just name
Right.
dropped. In
Although
no way, shape, or form.
Aye, we'll go with that.
I'm just blocking it up here because it was getting very, very serious.
We're going to go off on a serious tangent now. We need
the thing about it is,
on that note,
I don't want to get into that serious discussion because one, I'll get very aggravated.
Aye, we could be here all night.
And two, Vago is on the verge, like snapping with that conversation because already he said the famous words is "Don't get me fucking started."
Aye,
and if Vago says "Don't get me fucking started," it's like that's it. It's got to go into a tangent, and he's never got to stop.
Yeah. That and my beer's finished, and I've never tinnies here, so I'm
to get up.
So I think that's a good point to shut it down. So, cheers, boys, for doing this for us.
Part two.
Hopefully we'll get to see each other again soon. We'll hopefully get some stuff opened up. We'll get back to training at some sort of capacity, and we'll get going again. But until then, this has been Mickey's Mosh Pit. Thanks again to Chris Archer and Kaden Garrick, brothers in the Rejected.
You got to put some music in there when you say it. Can we say Mickey Vago's Mosh Pit? It's got to hit some heat banging music.
I've said this with Scotty.
It's
a complete shit show. This could go any fucking number of ways.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's getting like how Wayne's World. So Wayne's World says Wayne's World is. Come on, I mean, they do the guitar. Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted have got the guitar. Come on, I mean, you got to say Mickey Vago's Mosh Pit.
Well, I didn't bring the guitar down today. Like I like to use proper music. I looked into it. You have to use this fucking non-copyright nonsense, and it's a fucking caper.
Let's face it, it's not exactly hard to write some Mosh Pit music, is it? Really?
We'll see.
You know what I mean?
Like I said, I forgot my guitar, but hey. But anyway, we're shutting this down. This has been Mickey's Mosh Pit. Thanks to the boys. We'll see you again soon.